Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's tutorial. Today we are going to be working with the Summer Market collection from Carta, and we're also going to be adding on the chipboard accents and the adhesive brads. Along with it, we also have the coordinating solids paper pack, which has 6 sheets of solid cardstock. And as you can see here, there's 2 sheets of each, and there's 3 different colors or 3 different papers with a different color on each side. So you have a total possible of 6 different colors if you wanted to. And at this point I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be picking for my background pages, so I just flipped over every second one, that way I could see every color to see what I wanted to work with for my cardstock. And so here I'm just going to kind of go through all the different pattern papers. As you can see, this 12x12 collection kit had a sticker sheet as well, which we're going to put to the side and use to embellish our pages a little bit later on. I do have summer pages to do in my 2012 pocket page album, so I may use some of this kit for that, but it's just, I'm gonna wait and see how much I have left for embellishments. So the 12x12 collection kit has 12 different pattern papers, and they are all double-sided. And well, it's Carta, so it's like that textured, it's that nice textured paper, and the cardstock is textured as well, just like the pattern paper. But what I'm doing here, first of all, is I'm just taking out all of our journaling card papers, and I'm gonna cut them up and use them on our pages a little bit later. And if we do have enough stuff left over, I will possibly do a pocket page video with them as well. And there are like a lot of 3x4 vertical journaling cards with this kit. Like normally it's all 4x6s on one 12x12 sheet, and then, you know, all 3x4 sizes or 4x4 sizes on another. But this one had a lot of vertical 3x4 because the typical 4x6 12x12 sheet actually had 3x4 on them as well. So here I need 4 background pages and 2 accent papers. I'm going to be using Cutting Guide A today, I believe, and so it's a super fast and easy cutting guide, and we're just going to switch it up a little bit. So I'm kind of going with a little bit plainer of backgrounds because I feel like there's a lot of color in the embellishments, and so I think they'll really stand out a lot better on a plainer background. And then I love that yellow, like buffalo plaid kind of color. I think that color like is so bright and fun for summer, and it's gonna work well with our background colors and our floral accent paper as well. So typically with this cutting guide, you pick like 2 colors, so you need 2 sheets of 2 different colors. But I switched things up this week a little bit and went with 3 different colors. Normally your cardstock A and B are like your neutral color, or one that's gonna be the most dominant, that you want to have more like influence your pages the most. So for me, that went with my pink colored cardstock, so I went with 2 sheets of that color. And then what I did is that mint colored green kind of color, and this black cardstock, I went with 1 sheet of each of those instead of picking just 2 of my second color. So for so I went with 2 pinks, 1 of that mint colored green, and then also 1 sheet of black cardstock. We have cutting diagrams in my tutorial videos, and I just kind of want to let you know how to read them. So there's the number in top in inches, and that's going to be the size that we're going to cut that cut piece into. And there's a number below it in a circle. So a lot of the times we're making 4 pages or 6 pages when we're using these cutting diagrams, and all these cut pieces can sort of get very disorganized. So that number inside of the circle there represents a pile that you're going to put that cut piece into. So for a 4-page tutorial, we're going to make 4 piles. And for a 6-page tutorial, we're going to make 6 piles. So the numbers are going to be either 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. So page 1 is going to have all the cut pieces that have a circle with the number 1 inside. And so on for the 4 or 6 pages. So now we're going to go ahead and take all pieces of our cardstock, and we are going to cut 1 inch in, 1 inch from the top, and 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to make a straight line on all 4 sides of each of these pieces of cardstock. What we're basically doing is cutting a 10 by 10 inch square out of the center of this piece of cardstock. The border is going to be put into our pile, and the center, the 10 by 10 inch center, is going to be put to the side, and we're going to be cutting it with another cutting diagram as soon as we're done cutting out all of these squares. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the backgrounds for our pages. So we are going to be cutting the barcode strip off along with 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch on the other side. So we're going to be making an 11.5 inch by 11.5 inch square for all of our background papers. So as you can see here, I kind of have all of my photo mats in front of me, and these are kind of I went through like the pages that I'm making today, and I kind of, my photo mats are kind of what my photos would be sitting on my table while I'm doing my layouts, but because I don't want them on camera, my personal pictures, I just replace all my personal pictures with these white photo mats. So that's why you kind of see a predetermined amount of them on the table there, because that's kind of what I know by looking at my personal pictures, what I want to use. And I kind of wanted to use more pictures with these 4 pages compared to what I normally would make with this cutting guide. So what I did is, instead of like on the previous page there, I used 4 3x4 photos in a horizontal orientation instead of 2 vertical 4x6 pictures. So it's just a way to change it up a little bit, and I needed more horizontal photos. So I'm kind of rotating some of the pages compared to their normal orientation, which is totally what the cutting guides are for. They are designed so that you can change things up and rotate them and make them work. I mean, the cut pieces are just kind of a starting point, and you can kind of lay out the design however you choose. So here is layout number 3, and I just turned my 8.5 by 11 printed sheet. I just turned it upside down to kind of just, give myself an orientation of how I want to glue it down. And this page as well, instead of orientating it with the pictures to be vertical, I decided I wanted to orientate them with the pictures going horizontally. So I just rotated the page like 90 degrees. So this is just one more way, I guess, you can make the cutting guides a little bit more versatile and get them to work for you. And I also added a 3x4 photo into this layout as well. Okay, so what I did is I went ahead and I pre-cut all of our remaining cardstock and all of our journaling card papers. So there was some borders, there was a few 4x6s, and there was a lot of 3x4 vertical journaling spots. And then our brads are actually adhesive brads. They're not ones that you have like a typical brad backing with, which is awesome. I like them. They're kind of repositional that way, and I really enjoy them compared to traditional brads. You have to actually poke through your paper. So here I'm just kind of I don't typically usually like to do like a full 12 by 12 border across my page. I just feel like it breaks up the page, and so I don't do it that often. But there I kind of like the saying, so what I did is I just cut that border. So instead of leaving it 12 by 12, I cut it down so it just says best summer ever and it doesn't repeat itself, and I use it like you would use like a titling. And then I just tried to kind of put some embellishments around the outside edges of my photos, because I feel like the photos in this layout sort of almost make their own little cluster. They're kind of grouped together. So I feel like you don't really need the embellishments to like group the photos together, because they kind of do that on their own. So for me, when I look at this page, I feel like before I even put embellishments on it, it's kind of balanced, and the embellishments don't need to balance out the page itself. So then for pages like that, what I do is I just tend to like embellish around the whole photo area itself. Now, I was really kind of stared at this page for a while and brought it back because I wasn't really sure. Like I usually like to put like 3 sets of embellishments on the page. And here at the top, I felt like there was a little bit of something missing, just because I feel like that black cardstock is so big, such a big blank area. And especially with a plainer background, I feel like you really notice it a lot more. So I kind of wanted to put some kind of embellishments up there, but I hate adding like a 4th area. But I felt like there was too much distance between it and all the rest of the embellishments to really combine the embellishments area to make one big one, so that I still technically only have 3 areas. So what I did is I kind of just went with it, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to make another 4th. I'm going to make a 4th area up here, and it is what it is. And I think I like it. I still think it was worth it. I don't know how I would really change it. And when it comes down to it, it's just going to be one page out of like 100 pages. And I don't think at the end of the day, anyone else is going to notice that there's like that 4th area there. And I'm just going to let it go. And I'm going to let it be what it is. And it's really, I'm not going to think about it 10 years from now. So I'm just going to let it go. So I felt like this really needed a little bit more. Especially to the boards at bottom left. I wanted to make sure that that was sort of my big focus area, because that's kind of where the dead space was. And I wanted to do some kind of cool like quote or something here. And so I went ahead and decided that like this best summer ever one would be really good as a base that I could put embellishments around. And I like that it still like sort of brought together that that pink color, so it looked like it's just kind of extending from the photo mat, from the pink behind the photo mats. And then it's just really easy from here just to like have a landing for the embellishments. So I wanted to pop up this bike and have like a window in the background of it. I just didn't know if I wanted the flower cart or if I wanted the little open window sign. And I really like how this, the open sign in front of the window looks. And I like that it has like a black, there's like a black coloring in that piece of embellishment, because then it coordinates well with this titling that sort of says locally grown. And I feel like that locally grown sign sort of really stands out against everything else, because that's kind of like, so black is sort of like accentuated on this page because that's the only two places where black is on the page. So it makes it stand out really nice, just utilizing the color like that. Okay, so the open sign is actually chipboard. The banner at the bottom of that 4x6 photo area is also chipboard. And then the vase with the flowers on the left side of the locally grown sign is chipboard as well. Everything, and the little fresh sign here is also chipboard. Everything else besides this little shop sign is also just stickers that are adhered to the page. That bike is a sticker as well, but it is popped up. So there's a lot of height variation, and a lot of it creates like shadows and depth on the page, which I really love. And I decided that I was going to utilize this 12 by 12 or this 12 inch wide wording. I don't usually like to run borders like the full 12-inch width of the page, but I decided that I kind of liked it there, so I put it, but it's also something that's really easy to take off if I decide that I don't really like it. So I did leave it, and tomorrow I'll go back and look at it and see if I like it or not. And sometimes it's nice just to give it a day, kind of look at it and say, you know what, I don't really like it, or I do like it. So I'll see how I feel about it tomorrow. So with this page here, I decided to put pop up this summer banner underneath that 3x4 photo area, and then utilize this 3x4 journaling card in a horizontal orientation at the bottom of the 4x6 photo, just to give this smaller campground, or this smaller camper element, sort of like a landing, like a base to sit on, and then kind of just embellish around that camper at the bottom of that 4x6 photo area. So I really like this this other mint colored 12-inch border piece that says summer means happy days and stopping to enjoy the little moments. But instead of using it as one 12 by 12 or 12-inch long strip, I decided to cut it into 3 different pieces and just kind of put them in staggered places on the page, and kind of like putting them around the photo areas themselves, and utilize it that way. So you still get to read the message, it's just broken up a little bit more. And then I like this bench, so what I did is I tucked it in underneath the wording here, and I just put a little piece of foam tape at the bottom of it, just to create like a little bit of a shadow at the bottom of the bench. And for our final page here, the inspiration pictures that I had for this was actually like baking in the kitchen. And so I liked that the background has like some kitchen pictures and kitchen themes to it, and then also I feel like the yellow like buffalo plaid paper just really works perfect as well. And then I found this 3x4 journaling card that says, when life gives you lemons, make lemon meringue pie. And we love lemon meringue pie at our house, so it worked out perfect. But I felt like it was a little bit too big, being that my photo areas were like all 3x4, so I wanted to downsize it a little bit, and it just happened to work out perfect that I could just cut off the yellow border around it and make it a little bit smaller. And as you can see, I did move my 3x4 photo areas around a little bit, and I staggered them just to make that fresh squeezed lemonade sticker work at the top of the page there. There really isn't a lot on this page, but there are a lot of photo areas, so and the background is fairly busy. There isn't a lot of like blank cardstock, so you don't have to do maybe as much on this page as you do with some of the other ones. So yeah, that's kind of how I left this page off. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching this week, and we will see you next week with another tutorial video. I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and I hope you have a great weekend.